welcome. I'm Rebecca Moorhead, and you're listening to More for Your Practice, sponsored by Practice Manager Solutions. If you're a practice manager, a doctor, or administrator looking for more support and more ideas on how to best manage your busy medical practice or grow your practice, then you're in the right place. Hi and welcome. Our guest today is Susan Davis, and I want to tell you about her. Susan holds a Master of Theology in Energy Medicine, Transpersonal Psychology. She has spent many years traveling and teaching in the military with her husband, and she has extensive experience in leadership and mentoring and is the co-author of Wartime Coping Strategies, currently being implemented through many veteran organizations. She continues to seek out alternative practices to help others achieve a quality of life, living in joy, wellness, and abundance. Welcome, Susan.
Well, thank you for having me.
This is exciting. You and I have had a little bit of a stressful time here today trying to get some technology working for us, but I'm happy to finally be doing this show with you.
I'm so excited to be here. I have so much to share. This is my passion. I just love helping people, and there's a great modality out there called past life regression that's really working wonders for many.
Well, let's talk about it. Let's just dive right in. I bet a lot of people who are listening to this are thinking, what is that? And is that woo-woo stuff? Or what's going on with past life regression? What is it?
Well, first of all, I'm here to help you, your organization, your coworkers, family, extended family, friends, and community to reduce stress, release unwanted behavior patterns, and have an overall better quality of life and happiness. So past life regression is simply past life referring to anything that is before now. 5 days ago, 5 weeks ago, 5 years ago, 50 years ago, or 500 years ago. So that's how we move into removing the trauma that's been initiated into some unwanted behavior pattern. And it's really quite unique. It's not a cookie-cutter application. It's for individuals who are seeking change.
So if a practitioner, a doctor, psychologist, behavioral health specialist is wanting to notice something like this in an individual, I mean, how does one come to the conclusion that this is a viable candidate for past life regression therapy?
Well, the response of positive outcomes is so overwhelming. I invite you to join those who are reaping the benefit of this modality. As far as any professionals are concerned, most of my clients are professional. They too are seeking information on how to remove things that no longer serve them. Maybe it's a health issue, maybe it's financial, maybe it's relationship. Any of those everyone is a candidate in my mind to want to have more joy and happiness. That's the bottom line.
So it might be someone who wants to get rid of some pattern or habitual something that they don't want, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Well, yeah, it could be anything. Like, for instance, maybe you have something to do with your weight, that you'd like your weight to be different. We can investigate that. We can investigate, why am I not feeling abundant? Why isn't money or things happening in a good way for me? And we investigate that. A lot of patterns come from not just, being in 7th grade and being traumatized, either bullied or otherwise just not feeling completely yourself, all the way into the birth. So we can investigate where this might have come from because it's unconscious. The whole point of this modality is that we are unable to reach our unconscious by ourselves. If that were the case, why would we need a modality to help us get there? Basically, I'm a facilitator that helps people find out who they are and where is this unconscious messaging or programming coming from. I kind of compare it to a computer. So if you look at your hard drive, and you have multiple programs running, and you forget that they're running. You actually don't even remember that you've got so much going, but your hard drive is over. It's like running and running and running. Guess what that is? That's stress. So let's go in and remove some of those programs, turn them off, get rid of them. And this is the way to do that, through the unconscious.
Yeah, kind of like my iPhone, whenever it starts draining all the battery and I look and I see I have 14 programs running all at once.
Exactly. However, for us, we can physically see that. That's like a black and white thing. We can turn on our phone and we can pull up all those programs that are running. In order to do this in a personal basis, we need a facilitator. We need someone to help us realize that we do have other programs running, because this is unconscious. So if you kind of compare it to traditional therapy is very strict, defined by psychology and rigid guidelines. This modality is very creative. It is not run by those defined psychological rigid guidelines. So we investigate it through the right brain rather than the left brain. And that's what makes it so exciting, because you're uncovering your history. You're actually taking a look at what's going on within you that is unconscious. This is not cognitive. It's unconscious. That's the key word here. And because, like I was working with someone in Colorado last week, and she says, my son is so bright. I don't understand why he's sabotaging his future. And I said to her, this is unconscious. He doesn't even realize that this is what's going on. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So these things are happening like a frequency that we don't even know it's going on.
Exactly.
Kind of like the dogs can hear the whistle, but we can't. It's a frequency that's just happening, and we don't realize that it's underlying there. So how is this different from hypnosis?
Actually, this is de-hypnosis.
De-hypnosis.
De-hypnosis. We've already been hypnotized. And so this differs from other forms of regression therapy in that it's not generally used for past life exploration and knowledge seekers. This is performed with a specific therapeutic target as the result. So, for example, say you have fear of flying. We're going to target that issue and go in and find out where this lives unconsciously in your being.
Wow. So I know from meeting you, working with you personally, that you have a vast experience with the military and post-traumatic stress disorder. So can you talk about how this modality actually helps with those types of disorders?
Yes, because I've had many clients who are veterans who seek out alternative techniques and therapies, have tremendous results because we take the layers. It's like we're like an onion, and we want to peel back each layer to see where this behavior is coming from. And while it may have been triggered through the war, I can trace it back with the help of the client to find out where it actually came from.
So about how many sessions would a person need to notice some change, Susan?
Well, you're going to notice a change right after the first session. But I recommend 5 to 10 sessions because this is a unique modality. It is not a cookie-cutter format, and that's why it works. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what each individual is going to bring to the table and what that means as far as how we're going to clear that. So I suggest 5 to 10 sessions. This is not like a lifetime. It's not like I'll be seeing you for 7, 8, 10, 25 years. That's not at all what it's about. It's about getting in there, and you can have those sessions as close together as you like and reap the benefit even sooner.
Quicker, yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me about, when we're talking about the military, you created a project called The Bridge. Can you talk about that?
That's quite an extensive document. Yeah, I could talk about that for about 5 days. But basically, it's a model of wellness, an actual center that I'd like to create or have someone else create it based on alternative therapies. Of course, being observed and overseen by traditional medical personnel would be imperative as we bring back our soldiers and their families back into balance and wellness through the ability to use alternative therapies, which are quite remarkable. And just that fact, I studied with Dr. Norman Shealy, PhD, MD, neurosurgeon from Duke University, and most of my training has come from his research, and he's researched pain for the last 35 years, and the way he reduces and eliminates pain is not with drugs or pharmaceuticals.
So why is this so popular now? I mean, these alternative therapies are being brought into traditional medicine offices because I'm seeing this more and more. You know, that these integrative centers are bringing in other alternative therapies other than just the typical diagnose and treat.
Well, this is about the whole person. You cannot just take one. Say you have a table with 3 legs. That's maybe only one leg. You still have 2 other places to go investigate. And while you want to trust what our medical professionals are telling us, it's all about personal responsibility. So we want to take personal responsibility and investigating what's really going on. What are we putting into our bodies? Not only food and nutritionally, but what are our thoughts? What are our actions? It's a combined triage. We cannot just use one way of investigating what's going on with our health. And if something comes up in our health, it always has an emotional component. We must investigate that.
So how do you get to the unconscious?
Well, the unconscious is always available to you. It's available right now. You just have to ask it for the information. But that's somewhat difficult to do by yourself.
I was going to say, that sounds a little woo-woo.
But if I were to ask you something, for example, if I were to ask you to describe your front door, okay, and you're not standing in front of your front door, could you describe your front door?
Yeah, because it's a thought process, and I bring the picture back into mind.
That's exactly what we do in the session.
Okay.
Does that explain that?
Yeah, I think so. It's tapping back into, well, several resources. If it's visual or it's recall.
Yes,
it's recall.
Yeah, and sometimes it's triggered by smell or a color, or everyone is different, and that's why it's a unique process, and that's why it's very it works. It's working for many people. I have not had hardly anyone come to me that has not had a profound result, because first of all, they've taken personal responsibility and shown up to find out what's really going on with themselves.
I really like that you bring up personal responsibility, because one of the leading MDs in New York, Dr. Stephen Lamb, he asks his patients, so what have you, Mr. Patient, Mrs. Patient, what have you done since our last visit together? What have you taken responsibility for? Because I think somewhat the healthcare industry is more leaning upon the physician to make all the solutions in that 10 or 15-minute appointment, and then the patient walks out and does nothing different in their life, changes nothing, and then comes back 6 months later or a year later, and everything's the same or even worse.
Well, it has to be a choice. We make choices every day, and sometimes you just have to wake up in the morning and decide you're going to make a different choice. Are you going to drink more water? I can tell you that probably everyone who is listening is deficient in their water intake. You should take your body weight, divide it in half, and that is the minimum amount of water in ounces that you should be consuming. And you should drink water before you go to bed at night. And people are going, oh, I don't know, I'll have to get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. Well, maybe, but, you're dehydrating your entire system. We're made of over 70% of water, just like Mother Earth. We must remember that fact. And if you think that by taking in any other liquid other than water that constitutes the ounces required, that's not true. So if you're drinking caffeine or caffeinated beverages or sodas, that does not count towards your water amount that you need for your body.
So these are some things that we know, but we just don't do, right?
Right. Yeah, instead we line up for Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks or one of the other coffee places, and we get our coffee and our muffin, and we go on to work or to school or wherever we're going. And that's what is really important to realize, that how are you fueling your body? I mean, if you have a really nice car, you're making payments on a beautiful car. Are you taking care of it? Are you checking the oil? Are you putting in the good gas? That's the same. Our bodies are our vehicle. We must pay more attention to what we're putting into our bodies. And you can start with the water. Water is an easy new thing to add into your regime every day. Just remembering the water. And when I work with my clients, I love the smartphones because I send them the little water droplet icon. And that's all I send them, just to remind them to drink water. And and they're like, sometimes they respond. I don't ask them to respond, but they're like, how did you know I needed to drink water? Well, because I figured you probably needed to drink water.
So you hold some classes. You certify people in this modality, don't you?
Yes, I do. Our next class will be this Sunday, September 14th in Daytona Beach. It will be an all-day class. The actual course is 35 hours, so the first 8 hours is in person, and the remainder we can do over the phone, and I set up video conferencing to finish out the training.
So that brings up a good question. These sessions that you have with individuals, do they have to be in person?
No, they don't have to be in person. Most of my clientele is actually over the phone. I have clients all over the nation and around the world.
So how's that work over the phone? You can go through the process just by hearing your voice?
Well, I start with the interview. There's an intake process, and then it's very easily done because you have your earbuds, your headset on, you're in a quiet place. And for some people, I think it's probably even nicer than if you were to come in person. There's a safety issue that, you're in your own place, you're safe. You don't have to make a trip. You don't have to spend extra time or money traveling to the doctor or to an office to where you would receive treatment. I think it's I like the technology, and I like working with technology, and we're going to have more of this type of interaction with people through our technology.
Absolutely. So how can people get a hold of you, Susan, if they want to work with you?
You can contact me through my website, which is newhumanresolution.com. My email is susan@newhumanresolution.com. You can call me at 719-684-5011. All of those are available. You can find my resume on my website and find out more of my credentials and my background. You can set up a call just to talk to me to see if you have questions and how this would work for you. I have to share, last year one of my clients was 14, and her family had wanted her to see if I could work with her about an anger issue, and then we had one session on that, and they thought, wow, this is awesome. And so then they called me and asked me if I could help her with her algebra, that she was failing her algebra. I said, sure, bring her in. So we had a session on her algebra, and what happened was, and let me back up a bit, because the family wanted to make sure that I knew that they did not believe in reincarnation, which is not a you don't have to believe in reincarnation for a past life to work for you. It's, again, anything that happened before now. However, it was very interesting because they did tell me they believe in genetics and ancestral genealogy and how things are passed down through the generations, which works either way. So it was very interesting because the little girl says to me, well, is there mathematics in nuclear energy? And I said, yes, there is. And I said, what's the picture that you're seeing? And she said, well, I see a woman, but I can't understand what she's saying. I said, well, your unconscious mind knows what she's saying. And so she says, oh, she's speaking Polish. And they're asking her to create a formula that will hurt people. And I said, well, what happens to the woman? And she said, oh, they shoot her and kill her. So the unconscious message that was playing until now was, in order to stay alive, I must not do well in mathematics. So once she brought that message to the cognitive consciousness, recognize it and let it go, it was cleared. She texted me. Now, mind you, this was the last 5 weeks of school last year. She texted me 3 weeks later that she had got an A on her final exam in algebra.
Wow.
It's very
an incredible
powerful
story.
It is an incredible, but that's just one of thousands of stories. It's just very powerful, and especially for our young kids, this is a very safe way for them to release whatever fears are going on. And really the bottom line is that we all have different fears that we'd like to remove and get rid of. And this is a great modality that works with that.
And I'm sure that anything that's a fear, that could be a weight issue, that could be something that you're fearing to do, fear of social situations, all types of things.
All types of things: addiction, pain, sleeplessness, finance, relationships, all of that. And this modality goes to the core issue of where that came from. Where did that come from? And even though you're cognitively going, well, I've tried this, and this, and I don't know what's going on, but nothing's working. Why do I keep attracting the same kind of people in my life? Why do I keep having the same issue going on with my relationship? That's the kind of thing I'm targeting with individuals when they come and ask me for help.
Wow. This is powerful because it's pretty much painless, isn't it?
Yeah, it's painless. You got
no injections, no needles.
No. No, this is not invasive at all. And everything is confidential unless I think you're going to hurt someone else or yourself. Remember, this is working with dehypnosis and in a focused state to access unresolved past experiences. So you're looking to resolve past life survival scripts or patterns that's affecting one's state of mind, behaviors, mental and physical health. So some of the pioneers in this field are Dr. Morris Netherton. That's who I trained with.
Okay.
So the method that I use is the Netherton method. And Carl Schlotterbeck is one of his students as well. He's written a few books. A really good book, if anybody's interested, it's a really short one. It's called The Karma in Your Relationship by Carl Schlotterbeck. The
Karma in Your Relationships?
Yes.
Okay.
And Carl with a K, Schlotterbeck, SCHLOTTERBECK. It's a really nice little book to kind of read. It kind of figures things out for you. Another good book, if you're interested, is Past Life Therapy, Past Life Regression, Special Edition by Morris Netherton. He's a PhD psychologist.
Okay. Interesting. Are there any supplements or anything that you actually recommend to your patients or the people that you're working with, your clients?
Well, I try to find out in the interview, what they're taking into their body, but I can for sure tell you this is because of the research that Dr. Norman Schuele has created and done in the last 35 years, that everyone is magnesium deficient, okay? There's very few people that are not magnesium deficient. So what does that mean?
And why is that?
Well, it's because we're bombarded with so many stressors in our life. We've got, different lighting in our work situations that are bombarding us. We've got microwaves. We've got preservatives in our food, all different kinds of things that are contributing to our stress. So magnesium is the first thing that leaves your body under stress, and the quickest way you can get it back into your body is not through an actual supplement or pill, but transdermally, which is through your skin, so like an Epsom salt foot soak or magnesium lotion. Either one of those two practices should be put back into your daily regimen, because that will make you feel so much better. And those are the two things, the water and the magnesium, that I can recommend to everyone who's listening right now. Absolutely put those into your daily routine, because you'll feel a big difference immediately.
Okay. So a nutraceutical isotonic magnesium would probably be just as efficient, if not more, because it's isotonic. I mean, it would be absorbed right away.
Exactly. You want something that works quickly because you want the stress gone.
Okay.
Yeah, and the stress, if you look at every disease, there is a magnesium deficiency.
Interesting.
So if you were to collaborate with all the people out there, all the peer-reviewed articles and everything, you'll find that if they've done a test for magnesium, there's a deficiency.
Wow. Well, that's really interesting. You've given us a lot to think about today, and this new therapy, this modality that is becoming even more popular, is something that I think is helpful to not only the military, of course, but everyone in their day-to-day lives. Like you say, if they're trying to change a pattern, change a habit, or why am I attracting these types of people in my life, or these types of financial situations, anything really.
Exactly. It works for everything. And again, I'm here to help you, your organization, coworkers, family, extended family, friends, and community to reduce stress, release unwanted behavior patterns, and have an overall better quality of life and happiness. I can go into your organization and do a stress reduction strategies workshop. If you'd like to contact me for that, I can become available for that. It's a great way to figure out and team build, because my whole background is team building and leadership. So I like to incorporate that too, and then springboard off to that if anyone would like to have a private session. So I recommend that you check out my website, newhumanresolution.com. Contact me. I would love to work with you.
Awesome.
This is for everyone, children, teens, adults, elders. Everyone can benefit.
Wonderful. Well, I thank you, Susan, and I hope that you get a lot of contacts out of this and are able to help many more people improve their health and wellness.
Well, I look forward to working with whoever investigates this modality. It helps you to become a kind, gentle observer rather than a victim or a victimizer. And we want our communities to be healthy, well, balanced, and in harmony.
Yes. Yes. Well, thank you so much for taking your time out to talk with our audience today, and we look forward to hearing more about what you're doing and hearing more testimonials.
Well, I can't wait to hear her. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, thank you. All right.
I want to thank our guest today. This has been an interesting and lively discussion, and I also want to thank my listeners for tuning in to More for Your Practice. If you have questions about today's program or any other questions related to managing your practice, feel free to email me at info@practicemanagersolutions.com or visit us online at www.practicemanagersolutions.com. I'll be back again next time, so until then, have a great week.